Supplements can feel like an easy win for better sleep, more energy, or living longer. Many do not deliver on those promises, and some carry risks. Here's a practical way to decide what to skip, try, or buy. Ask 3 questions before taking anything. Number 1 is, why do I need it? In other words, am I treating a symptom or trying to prevent something? Number 2 is, how will I know it works? Can I track a symptom or run a simple blood test, for example? And number 3 is, what is the highest quality version? Look for third-party testing and clear labels. Multivitamins are one of the most commonly used supplements and are often viewed as a safety net for gaps in the diet. This idea is appealing, but large studies have shown that multivitamins do not significantly improve longevity or prevent chronic diseases such as heart disease or cancer. The bigger concern is the false reassurance they provide. Taking a pill may lead people to neglect real dietary improvements, even though no supplement can replicate the complex mix of fiber, phytonutrients, and other compounds found in whole foods. In addition, high doses of certain vitamins in multivitamin formulations have been linked to harm in specific groups, such as increased cancer risk amongst smokers who take excess B6 or beta-carotene. There are limited cases where multivitamins might help, such as during recovery from illness, in older adults at risk of deficiencies, or for those with very restricted diets. Even then, targeted supplementation of the missing nutrient is usually better. For most people, the verdict is to skip multivitamins and invest in nutrient-rich whole foods instead. Creatine is best known for its role in athletic performance, helping the body generate quick bursts of energy during weightlifting or sprinting. It's one of the most studied sports supplements and is consistently shown to have benefits for muscle strength and power. Beyond athletics, there's a growing interest in the role it plays for brain health, with some research suggesting possible cognitive benefits in older adults. The standard daily dose of creatine monohydrate is 3 to 5 grams, which has been shown to be safe for most people. Unlike many supplements, creatine has a long safety profile, with side effects usually limited to mild stomach upset when doses are too high. Because the body naturally produces creatine and dietary sources like meat and fish provide more, supplementation is not essential for everyone. Still, it is worth considering if you exercise regularly, follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, or are looking for added support with age-related cognitive changes. My verdict is to try creatine, especially if you're active and want to optimize performance or brain function. NMN and NAD+ supplements are heavily marketed as anti-aging breakthroughs. They're based on the fact that NAD+, a molecule in energy production, declines with age. While the idea sounds promising, almost all of the strong results come from animal or cell studies, not large, high-quality human trials. This means that despite bold claims, there's no reliable evidence showing that NMN supplementation improves longevity, or prevents disease, or enhances brain function in people. Adding to the uncertainty, there are regulatory concerns since NMN's status as a dietary supplement in the United States has been challenged by the FDA. Safety over the long-term use is also unknown. Because the risks, costs, and lack of evidence outweigh potential benefits, the verdict here is simple for me. Skip NMN and similar quote-unquote brain boost supplements. Magnesium is an essential mineral which is involved in hundreds of biochemical processes from muscle contraction to blood pressure regulation. Many adults do not meet daily magnesium requirements, particularly those who eat fewer whole grains, nuts, or leafy greens. Magnesium supplements are often promoted for better sleep, and while some studies suggest small benefits in older adults or people who train very hard, the evidence overall is really mixed. Deficiency is where supplementation helps the most, and in those cases, glycinate or citrate forms are usually preferred because they're absorbed more easily. Typical doses range from 200 to 400 milligrams per day. High doses can cause diarrhea, cramps, and even dangerous complications in people with kidney disease. Because magnesium also interacts with some medications, it's always best to talk with your doctor or your clinician if you're taking prescriptions long term. For most people, magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, almonds, leafy greens, and whole grains are enough. My verdict is to try supplementation only if you're older, train heavily, or have trouble meeting needs through diet. Now let's talk about iron. Iron is essential for producing red blood cells that carry oxygen throughout the body. Many people associate tiredness with low iron, but unless a true deficiency is present, iron supplementation provides no benefit and may even cause harm. Excess iron can irritate the digestive tract and contribute to oxidative stress, which may raise inflammation in the body. That's why testing iron levels before supplementation is so important. A blood test can clarify whether fatigue is linked to iron deficiency or another condition. If supplementation is necessary, it should be guided by a healthcare clinician to determine the correct dose and duration. Otherwise, the best approach is to focus on food sources. These include seafood like sardines and mackerel, small amounts of red meat, beans, lentils, tofu, and leafy greens paired with vitamin C-rich foods to enhance absorption. My verdict is to skip iron unless you have a confirmed deficiency or anemia diagnosed by testing. Now let's touch on probiotics. Probiotics are marketed as solutions for gut health, immunity, and even mood. In reality, their benefits depend entirely on the specific strain, the condition being treated, and the individual's unique gut microbiome. Most supplements contain only a few bacterial strains, while the gut naturally hosts hundreds. For the average healthy adult, taking a probiotic every day is unlikely to make much difference. Professional guidelines emphasize that probiotics are not a one-size-fits-all solution and are best used in very specific situations, such as certain antibiotic treatments, or in patients with diagnosed digestive conditions like irritable bowel syndrome or IBS. Using studied strains and time-limited courses is very important. Daily probiotic use as a general wellness tool does not have strong evidence. Instead, focusing on a diet rich in plant fiber and fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, or kimchi is a more effective way to support your gut health. My verdict is to try probiotics only if recommended for a particular condition or situation, but skip them as a daily habit. Now let's talk about one you hear about all the time, these wonderful, magical green powders. Green powders promise the benefits of vegetables in a convenient scoop. While drying produce can preserve some vitamins, powders strip away fiber and the natural food matrix that makes whole vegetables so incredibly beneficial. Many powders are also poorly labeled, with vague ingredient lists or added sweetener that provides little nutritional value. Evidence that green powders improve immunity, digestion, or energy is actually weak. Most of the bold claims made by companies are not supported by independent research. More importantly, powders cannot replace the texture, satiety, and synergistic nutrients that come from eating whole plants. That said, a high-quality powder may be useful as a backup option when traveling or during periods when fresh produce is harder to access. Look for transparent ingredient lists and products without additives. Still, the healthier and often cheaper option is to make a smoothie with frozen produce, yogurt, nuts, and seeds. My verdict is to try green powders only as a backup, but prioritize whole foods first. Now let's look at vitamin D. Vitamin D is unique because the body produces it when skin is exposed to sunlight, but modern lifestyles and geography mean that many people have low levels. The other thing that I see in my patients, and even in myself, family members, everybody has become very, very worried about skin cancers from excessive radiation exposure from the sun. So we see a lot of deficiency when people are tested. And deficiency can increase the risk of weak bones, falls, fractures, and correcting it clearly improves outcomes in these areas. The strongest benefits of supplementation are seen when levels are really low and they're documented by blood testing. For most adults, 600 to 800 international units daily is enough for maintenance, while higher doses should be used only when medical supervision is in place and for replacement of very low levels. Vitamin D3 is more effective than D2 for raising blood levels, and pairing it with food improves absorption. Groups at higher risk include people with darker skin, those who rarely go outdoors, older adults, and people with obesity or certain medical conditions. Because both deficiency and excess carry risks, a blood test is the best way to know if you need more or less vitamin D in your daily routine. I can tell you that in my practice years ago, we had a medical weight loss program. And in that program, every patient had a vitamin D level checked at the beginning of their treatment. After several years, hundreds of patients were tested. And not a single patient in northern New Jersey where I practice had a normal vitamin D level. Everybody was low. So it just tells you how much sun exposure is going on, how much the indoor lifestyle has become in the way of life. So it's something to look at and something to consider having tested. My verdict is to buy vitamin D if your level is low or if you have clear risk factors, but avoid unnecessarily high doses, of course. Now let's touch on omega-3s, EPA and DHA. Omega-3 fatty acids are found in oily fish, and they're among the most studied nutrients for heart health. As a cardiovascular surgeon, this is something that's always been been very, very important to me and very interesting as well. Eating fish twice weekly has been consistently associated with reduced risk of cardiovascular events, but translating those benefits into supplement form has been proven more complex. Over-the-counter fish oil supplements show mixed results for preventing heart disease in the general population. Prescription strength EPA, however, has demonstrated benefits in lowering triglycerides and reducing events in high-risk patients. Events means cardiac events, heart attacks, strokes, etc. This distinction highlights the importance of using the right dose and formulation for the right person. If you already eat salmon, sardines, or mackerel 2 or more times per week, you may not need to supplement. If you don't eat any fish, an algae-based omega-3 supplement can be a good option, particularly for vegetarians and vegans. The key is to choose products with third-party testing for quality and purity. My verdict is to try omega-3 if you don't eat fish or if your clinician recommends it for a specific need, but not as a universal supplement. How about protein powders? We see them everywhere. They're being promoted left, right, and center. Well, protein needs rise with age, physical activity, and recovery from illness. While most people can meet their needs with food, protein powders offer a convenient way to fill gaps, especially for busy individuals or athletes. When combined with resistance training, protein supplementation consistently supports gains in muscle mass and strength. The quality of protein powders varies widely. Many are ultra-processed, and many contain sweeteners, gums, or contaminants like heavy metals. Reading labels and choosing products with third-party testing is important to ensure safety. Whole food protein sources such as Greek yogurt, nuts, seeds, tofu, fish, and poultry remain the gold standard, offering additional nutrients beyond the protein alone. Protein powders should be seen as a top-up or a top-off, not a replacement. My verdict here is to try them when you can't get enough protein from food, particularly if you're training regularly, but not as a daily staple. Unlike isolated nutrients, whole foods provide a combination of fiber, antioxidants, healthy fats, and proteins that work together in ways supplements cannot. Dietary patterns rich in plants, seafood, nuts, and fermented foods are consistently linked with better heart health, brain health, and metabolic health. Examples include cacao, which contains flavonols that improve blood flow to the brain, flaxseed and psyllium, which support digestion and lower cholesterol, and turmeric, which contains anti-inflammatory compounds that work best when paired with black pepper, believe it or not. Frozen berries are a convenient source of polyphenols and vitamin C, while fermented foods can help maintain a balanced gut microbiome. Focusing on whole food supplements means you get not just a single nutrient, but a full spectrum of protective compounds. My verdict is to buy whole foods first and reserve supplements for cases where diet alone cannot meet specific needs. Let's talk about good habits for sleep, energy, and longevity. First, while supplements can have a role, the foundation of sleep, energy, and longevity lies in daily habits. A regular bedtime, a dark and cool sleeping environment, avoiding caffeine after the morning, and limiting screen use before bed all make a bigger difference for sleep than any pill. Similarly, consistent physical activity and balanced nutrition do more to sustain energy and promote long-term health than isolated supplements. Strength training, daily movement, and a diet built on vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, seeds, and quality proteins are strongly linked to reduced disease risk and better aging outcomes. Supplements can complement these habits, but never replace them. For most people, building a strong lifestyle foundation is more effective than relying on capsules or powders. If you found this video helpful, please share it with somebody that you care about. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe down below. I'm Dr. John Chuback, board-certified cardiovascular surgeon, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.